besties, and welcome back. So in today's video I will be giving you 6 fantasy book recommendations to get you into fantasy, or just maybe some recommendations that you have not heard about. So let's get started. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. So in this book, it is basically the Hunger Games, but with magic. You follow Peyton and Kai. Peyton is an ordinary. One day, she runs into Kai and she kind of saves his life. Her saving Kai's life immediately throws her into the trials. The king is basically only wanting to keep the elites. The elites started getting powers after this plague, and he noticed that they are a lot superior than the ordinaries, so he said bye-bye to the ordinaries and kind of has banished them from the kingdom and society. I think this is perfect for anybody who is not really into smut or spicy books, because there's none of that in this book. Literally nothing. You just get tension. I gave it 3 stars, but I can understand why people like it. All of my friends that aren't very big readers, when I told them that I was reading this book, they ended up picking it up and loved it. The next book, a little bit spicier than the first book, and it is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. In this book, you follow Poppy, who is a maiden. So maidens cannot be talked to, touched, looked at, none of that. So basically she kind of wears like this white veil. She would rather be fighting all like the evil creatures out there, the ones that took her family. Being a maiden was not necessarily her choice, since you have gods and she has this ascension that she's practically preparing for, and that the entire kingdom is very looking forward to. This book was so fun. I have so many things like dog-eared of my favorite moments. The third book I read on my Kindle, and it is Divine Rivals. This book was so cute. I loved all of it. In this book, you follow 2 rival journalists who are competing to win this promotion as a columnist. Something about Iris is that she has a brother who is fighting in the war between gods, because there's 2 gods. You either pick the side of this god or the other one, like there's no in between. And so he's fighting on one side, and her mom is not doing it too great, especially now that he's gone. She sends letters out to him that she sticks in her closet. They just, magically disappear. And one day she gets a letter back. She originally thought she was writing to her brother. She then finds out that the person that she's writing to and the person that wrote her back is not her brother, is some mystery man that she has no clue who he is. It is just so beautifully written. I think it is up there with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, like that type of beautifully written. I literally just mentioned this book, but it is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So this book was really popular back in 2020. You follow this girl named Adeline throughout all these different years, from like 1806 I believe to like 2014. She essentially ends up making a deal with the devil practically, because she is wanting to live a life. She wants basically immortality, because there's so many different things that she wants, but there is a little twist to her being able to live forever. Whoever meets her, or whoever she meets, will never remember her until one person finally remembers her. This quote, it says, "Stories are a way to preserve oneself, to be remembered and to forget. Stories come in so many forms, in charcoal and in song and paintings, poems, films, and books. Books she has found are a way to live 1,000 lives. or to find strength in a very long one. So the last two books are books that are literally talked about, I would say, every day. This first book, I would say, got me into the fantasy genre when it was very, very popular, like a couple years ago, because of Book Talk. And it is A Court of Thorns and Roses. I recommend this entire series. Everyone that I have recommended this book series to, at first they would be like, ℚ𝕗𝕗, I literally don't like fantasy. And I'm just like, give this book a chance. Okay, just give it a try. And they end up loving it. In this book, you follow Feyre, who is in desperate need to find food for her family that is not doing too well. And so she ends up murdering an animal. She ends up going to the Fey realm to kind of make up for it. It is against her will. This entire series is very addictive. The writing is very addictive. It's also easy to understand for someone who is just getting into fantasy. They do have graphic audios, which I also highly recommend, on Audible and on Libby, so I would check your library as well. The next book literally goes hand in hand because it is Throne of Glass. Now, if you are trying to decide which one to start with, I would personally recommend with ACOTAR, because not only is this series obviously not finished, but it's also a lot shorter than your Throne of Glass series. For me personally, and I think a lot of people, the reason that they put off Throne of Glass is because of how many books are in the series, and that is super intimidating. If you start with ACOTAR, you can kind of decide if you like her writing style. But I will say, please do not put off Throne of Glass, because for the longest time I was putting it off for the same reason that you guys are, which is it's long and it's intimidating. I literally was asking myself this year, as soon as I started it, why did I wait so long? I think this is honestly better than ACOTAR. I mean, I'm saying this now, even though ACOTAR is not finished, but there's something about the series that I love a lot more. There you have it. Those are my 6 books that I recommend to anybody who's wanting to get into the fantasy genre. I definitely want to do this again when I read a little bit more fantasy books, because I have a lot that I really, really want to read. Please comment down below your favorite fantasy recs. I definitely want to read, do a video where I only read fantasies for a week, so maybe if you guys give me your recommendations, it'll be in the video. Please like and subscribe for more bookish content. I love you guys and happy reading!